it's Christina with the Sisyphean Journal. I've mentioned elsewhere that the first person ever sentenced to die in the Illinois electric chair was an abortionist who had let a patient die and thrown her baby into the furnace. That was Dr. Amante Rongetti. While he was out on bail after challenging his death sentence, he performed a fatal abortion on another woman, 24-year-old Elizabeth Palumbo. She died at West End Hospital on May 23, 1929. Rongetti signed a death certificate attributing her death to appendicitis, but an undertaker thought the death was suspicious and asked the coroner to investigate. And the coroner concluded that the death had been caused by an abortion performed 2 days before her death. So Elizabeth's husband, identified in some sources as Joseph, but every place else as Anthony, so I'm going to assume he was Tony. Tony told the coroner's jury that Elizabeth had been in pain since a previous criminal abortion. He said, "Last Sunday night, my wife complained of pains in her right side, and I took her to Dr. Rongetti's office. I had known of Rongetti through relatives, and he had once treated me, saying I did not have tuberculosis, but something close to TB." Tony said that Amante Rongetti examined Elizabeth and said that she had acute appendicitis. He said, "Yes, it is an acute case. I will have to take that appendix right out." We didn't like the idea. The pain had been so severe. My wife told him she expected to become a mother. He said, "Well, I will have to take care of that too." And Tony indicated that he took that to mean that Rongetti was going to have to perform an abortion in order to be able to remove Elizabeth's appendix. He said that he and Elizabeth went home that night, discussed the situation, and decided to go with Rongetti's recommendation. Now, I'm not sure how much Tony knew about this, okay? Whether Dr. Rongetti and Elizabeth had a separate conversation and decided to keep the abortion part of it separate from Tony, or whether Tony was in on it too. But the next day, the couple went back to Rongetti's office. Tony said that Rongetti sent him home and took Elizabeth to the hospital himself. On Tuesday morning, he operated. I saw her Tuesday, and she said she felt all right. I saw her Wednesday, and she said the same, but she did not look well. On Thursday morning, they called me and said she was bad. After I got to the hospital, they stalled for a while, but finally told me she was dead. So the doctor who performed the autopsy attributed Elizabeth's death to an abortion-related infection. He noted that the incision that Rongetti had made when he operated on Elizabeth was in the center of her abdomen, not in the location to perform an appendectomy. And 2 doctors testified that there would have been no need to perform an abortion in order to do the appendectomy. So Rongetti was held by the coroner on June 12th for having perpetrated the fatal abortion. When the investigation ended, Rongetti vanished. He turned himself in on July 2nd and was released after only a few minutes because he had arranged in advance for his attorney to bail him out. So Rongetti managed to stall the trial for over a year. When the jury was chosen, jurors were required to pledge that if legally appropriate, they would sentence Rongetti to death. However, he was acquitted after 3 ballots. The first stood 7-5 for acquittal, but after 3 further hours of deliberation, the 5 jurors voting for conviction were won over by the others. Now, all of these goings-on surrounding Elizabeth's deaths again took place while Rongetti was out on bail pending a new trial in the abortion death of Loretta Enders. Now, the medical board did not agree with the jury about Elizabeth's death. They moved to revoke Rongetti's license while he was out on bail pending the appeal of a manslaughter conviction for Loretta's death. Their grounds were that he was under conviction for manslaughter. He had committed gross malpractices in the death of both Loretta and Elizabeth. Rongetti dragged out the process but did eventually lose his license, and I have not found any other dead women attributed to him once he lost his license.